days like that. The question, why am I here, takes on a whole new meaning when we reach our 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. When I was in my 20s and 30s, my answer to this question was probably, I am here to become a famous artist, raise a family, and create change in an unjust world. I am going to make a difference. Now when I ask myself, why am I here? It's usually because I'm staring into the broom closet and wondering why I'm there. I had meant to go to the refrigerator to get some club soda, but ended up here in the broom closet instead. I forget phone conversations I've had with close friends about celebrating Thanksgiving together, and have to keep a lengthy to-do list with the items like talk to Alan about our trip, pay the bills, exercise, drink water, gather supplies for Wednesday, write a sermon, why am I here? My friend Carol asked once to see my to-do list, and I was embarrassed to show it to her. It seemed so long with such trivial items on it. I mean, really, drink water? The problem is that if I don't write these things down, it's likely I'll forget to do them. I've been known to go all day without eating or drinking water, and then wonder why I feel so bad at the end of the day. In the same vein, as much as I'd like to be able to give you an off-the-cuff talk today, I do not trust my memory. And so I have all the words scripted out. When I look up to see you and forget where I am, just give me a second to find my place. Sometimes I wonder if my forgetfulness and absent-mindedness isn't a precursor to impending dementia or Alzheimer's. But then I remember that this has been going on for decades. Actually, from the moment I gave birth to my first child on June 27, 1981. It feels like we women lose brain cells with the birth of each child. It's not so much that we lose brain cells, it's that we're no longer able to organize them. Prior to Robbie's birth, I was able to think through a complex problem and come to a logical conclusion. I was actually quite brilliant at one time, sporting SAT scores over 1250, and straight A's through high school and college. With each successive child entering our family, I became less and less able to even complete a thought with all the interruptions, and never mind coming to a logical conclusion. Over time, I learned to tune out the background noise of my three boys playing loudly, the repetitive tunes of musical toys, and the constant chattering of my second son, Danny. And this came back to bite me one day. Danny, about 3 or 4 years old at the time, was just chatting away at me while I was trying to cook dinner. I kept responding, to him as he went on and on about something. All of a sudden, he was jumping up and down, excitedly yelling, "Really, really?" What, I said, finally paying attention to him. "We're going to get a horse and a pony, and we're going to build a barn over there on the other side of the fence, and we're going to name them Chloe and Penny." Now he really had my attention. This is the same son who once said to me, "Mommy, you've got a very bad memory." Much of my forgetfulness and absent-mindedness was and is due to distractions, stress, and not enough sleep. As I grow older, my forgetful moments seem to be growing more frequent, and now we affectionately call them our senior moments. Not long ago, I was driving to Artist Workshop Gallery, which is about 30 minutes away, when I realized that I forgot my keys to the store. Even though I was halfway there and I was going to be late, I went ahead and turned around and went back. And when I got back home, I looked everywhere for them and couldn't find them. Very frustrated, but then I recognized I had them in my hand because I had been driving the car. Senior moments do have a scientific name. They're called literal paraphasia. This is when we distort words by substituting one sound for another and temporarily forget names, even your spouse's, or why you went into the broom closet. It's when the senior moments make it hard to manage daily activities that we should be concerned about our forgetfulness, and they may be early signs of Alzheimer's or some form of dementia. Many of you were introduced to my mother last time I spoke here. After her stroke in 2005, she lost the use of her legs, one arm, and was legally blind. About the only thing that did work in her body was her brain and her sense of humor. Every time we visited the doctor, they would check her for onset of dementia. One time we went in, and the check-in nurse began the usual drill of questions. "Mrs. Rogers, do you know the name of our president?" And Mom replied, "Obama." She was wheeled into the examining room. The RN came in and asked, "Margaret, do you know the name of our president?" And Mom replied, "Obama." The doctor came in, asked her again the same question, "Margaret, do you know the name of our president?" And Mom snapped back, "Doesn't anyone here know the name of our president?" True story. Mom's physical disabilities came upon her suddenly with the stroke, but aging had already taken its toll on her knees and feet, and she continued to get heavier and heavier every time I saw her. And I remember being judgmental about her weight gain, thinking she was just not trying hard enough with exercise and dieting to lose the weight. I do not judge so quickly anymore. With menopause, my weight gain suddenly became a huge frustration because exercising and dieting just have not helped. My feet hurt all the time, so walking, which I always thought would be my fallback exercise program, is also limited. The body, which I had taken for granted for so long, was no longer cooperating at all. Mom passed away in 2010, and I was relegated with the task of going through all her prized possessions. So many things that she couldn't bear to part with that we had to rent a storage unit to keep them in. It was a sad and an enlightening experience to sort through her things. The antique fan, porcelain blue and pink bunnies, a tattered flower garden quilt, smocked Easter eggs, bits of tarnished broken pins and bracelets, rings with missing stones, stacks of handwritten letters, aged sepia black and white cameos of distant relatives with no names on the back. Each of these items had a significant meaning to my mother, and with her death, so too did the meaning die. The memory of my mother will live on in me for as long as I am alive and have my mental faculties. She will also live on in a lesser degree through my son's memories of her. My grandchildren will only know of her through photographs and oral stories, and my great-grandchildren will only know of her through photographs and written words. Her impact on the world is as a stone cast upon the water, the ripples moving out from the center, affecting what they will, until diffused upon the surface, with the stone having caused the ripples disappearing beneath the surface, its identity lost. And so the preacher laments, "Vanity of vanities, all is vanity." So what is the purpose of life? Why am I here? It can seem so futile at times. My purpose in life when I was in my 20s and 30s was to become a famous artist, raise a family, and create change in an unjust world, and make a difference. Well, what criteria do I use to evaluate whether to become a famous artist? Or rather, a small circle of people know that I'm an artist. Does that count? I raised a family, investing hundreds of thousands of dollars and countless hours of nurturing, cooking, entertaining, and teaching. I raised the 3 boys to be independent, self-assured young men, and they are, but I hardly ever hear from them. Where is the reward? In a job well done? Create change in an unjust world and make a difference? Probably, but again, there's no way to evaluate the outcome of my actions. Is it all for naught? What lasting mark have I made on this world when I pass? Are all my actions vanity of vanities? American novelist Thomas Wolfe once wrote, "Of all I have ever seen or learned, the book of Ecclesiastes seems to be the noblest, the wisest, and the most powerful expression of man's life upon this earth, and also the highest flower of poetry, eloquence, and truth. I am not given to dogmatic judgments in the matter of literary creation, but if I had to make one, I would say that Ecclesiastes is the greatest single piece of writing I have ever known, and the wisdom expressed in it the most lasting and profound. Ecclesiastes has had a deep influence in Western literature, the arts, and music. You remember the songs from Kansas, Dust in the Wind, and the birds, Turn, Turn, Turn. And what's Ecclesiastes' advice to us as we move through this next chapter of our lives? It is to remove grief and anger from your heart and put away pain from your body, because childhood and the prime of life are fleeting. I have seen that nothing is better than that man should be happy in his activities, for that is his lot. And this will stand by him in his toils throughout the few years of life given to him, for this is his reward. We are to be happy in our activities. When I was younger, I was much more goal and achievement driven. My activities were geared toward an end, and happiness was attained through achievement of a goal. Over time, I have learned that goals achieved will be forgotten, and with the passage of time, and have no lasting value. I think what the author of Ecclesiastes is suggesting is that we should strive for happiness in the activity itself. And herein lies the key to lasting happiness, to find joy and pleasure in each moment without attachment to outcomes. A sentiment shared by the Dalai Lama when he said, "The purpose of life is to be happy." A Course in Miracles teaches that the physical world we appear to be in was not created by God, but is an illusion of our own making. It is a manifestation of our false belief that we are separated from God. It is literally a dream we are dreaming. Our job while here in this physical reality is to accept this and learn how to live the happy dream. The happy dream consists of living your life in a state of non-judgment, total forgiveness, open-mindedness, and acceptance of what is. In the happy dream, it is no longer possible to get into argument because there are zero differences, zero opinions. One is at peace, experiencing joy, love, and happiness in the present moment. We are so fortunate to have this wonderful center filled with members who understand the deeper meaning of love, peace, joy, and happiness. Here we can find humor in and acceptance of our senior moments, uncooperative bodies, and challenges of growing older. We can laugh together about our foibles, our ailments, complaints, and idiosyncrasies. Life is funny. Laughter is a strong medicine for both the body and the mind. Laughter helps us stay balanced, energetic, joyful, and healthy. A sense of humor helps us to look outside of ourselves and laugh at the absurdities of life. An author I enjoy who has a rather provocative sense of humor is Kurt Vonnegut. In Cat's Cradle, he writes, "And God created every living creature that now moveth, and one was man. Mud as man alone could speak. God leaned close, as mud as man stood up, looked around and spoke. Man blinked. 'What is the purpose of all this?' he asked politely. 'Everything must have a purpose?' asked God. 'Certainly,' said man. 'Then I leave it to you to think of one for all this.' And he went away. So why am I here in the broom closet again? As I stand here staring into the broom closet, I see a dustpan with painted tissue for my art project stuck to it, and the broom bristles clinging to the fur of our golden retrievers, BG and Cassie. A sack of Walmart bags will turn into sleeping mats for the homeless, a water heater that affords me luxurious showers every morning, and dirty shoes that have taken Alan and I all over the country. What I see reminds me of the blessings of a creative mind, lovable pets, caring, supportive friends, the wonderful place I live, the freedom of being able to travel with my husband to enjoy this beautiful world. Perhaps I am in the broom closet to remind myself of these blessings and why I am here. I'm here to taste the experience to the utmost, to live my life to the fullest, to be happy, and I am. Amen.
I always love her twist. Would the ushers come forward, please?